Hey, Hypusnova, how's everybody doing tonight? Okay, so last time we did the tutorial video, we had a total easy streak. And you guys were asking, well, what would you do if you had a bad spell selection? And today, that's what we're going to see. So I'm going to take the exact same party we did last time, the fighter with rainbow mages, so fighter, red mage, white mage, black mage. So it's going to be the exact same party. It's a very, very similar flag set. The big difference is that this time I've got all of the incentive chests incentivized and all of the incentivized items in the pool. So that way you guys can see where all of the different incentive chests are in each of the different dungeons that we have, and the different items that can be in that pool and how that works. Alright, so, well, no BB, yep. So, again, this is to show off, using the exact same party where last time we had a very easy run and I was very powerful. What happens if you take a party and your spell selection is poor? How do you deal with a bad situation? And how do you turn that around and turn that into a win? So, with no further delay, we're going to get started. Now, I don't have a seed flag that you could try playing this ROM yourself because Falconic has actually put in a little bit of work and specifically selected some spells for me. So I don't know what the spell list is, but they're supposed to be bad. I'm going to act as if I didn't know anything yet. I don't know that I have a bad spell list upcoming, so we're going to see what I would do in this situation if I pretend that I didn't know. Volcanic. Hold on a second. I have to double check, am I running the right ROM? I think I am. And even if not, I think I can still make this work, because it will still prove the point. Okay, later, Dark Shiny Giratina. I hope you enjoy the first run. Dealing with the diversity, are you in this seed? No. Not exactly. Well, this is the seed that Falconic said that I should play, so I'm gonna just deal with the fact that the spell levels are messed up, and we'll make it work. So level 1 we got fire. That's what we got. I dream too much. I tell myself. Aelid is not good. Well, it's okay. It's not gonna help me in this seed. Iron Staff, maybe. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we've got fire, and we can punch people. So, is that enough to get through Temple of Fiends? Well, yes, it is, actually. 4 charges of fire and the ability to punch. I should be able to do enough damage to Garland, assuming that all my black casters get their charges off before dying. Okay, now we start to have a little bit of a problem. Well, we're going to take a wipe here, but hopefully I'm going to be able to get up to those top left chests to see if there's anything good up there. Because at least that will give me knowledge. And I can't. Good. Okay. So, gold and gold. Maybe Garland rolled really bad on hit points. And I can take him down with 2 fires before he actually gets a chance to... It's not a WOT seed though at least, right? This is not a WOT special. That was a very special seed that WOT was kind enough to whip up for us, but that was a fun night too. Okay, so there's money in those top left chests, but that's something that we don't necessarily need. If I can, you know, run away from these imps, that'd be great. Okay. Apparently we're gonna get all the fights. There we go. 3 imps is not gonna do that much damage to me. Come on. Run away. Okay. Well, maybe. There we go. Alright. So, fire does weak damage, but with 4 casts of them, I should be able to get through this fight. Unfortunately, Ted didn't die, so we get through the fight. Some levels for my mages, that'll help. Okay, so we get the king, the canoe from the king, and a ribbon. Okay, well, the ribbon is good news. That's going to help us stay alive. So Ted now has really good resistances. He will take less damage from everything and be less susceptible to status magic and instant death and all that good jazz. Pick Dave back up. So now we have a little bit more armor, or a little bit more money, so we can buy some armor. Not a whole lot, but at least we can buy an iron armor, and now Dave will be able to tank some hits. Yeah, these weapons were really bad, but I also have really bad options, so I'm going to actually buy an iron staff. And, oh yeah, level 1 magic is not great. Okay, so now we have a choice. Now we can go to Provoca or Elfland. Provoca's going to have a key item for us, so I'm inclined to want to go there. I also would like to get that money out of those top left chests in Temple of Fiends, so I'm going to try to do that. This time I have just a little bit more in the way of resources. Yeah, what horrible magic I have here, Falconic. How about that? Did you mean for those spells to not necessarily be level 1 in Corneria? Oh, Hypos Nova, that's a good question. I didn't actually check if Free Bridge was enabled. I think actually we turned off Free Bridge for this seed. So, you're right, I might have to go to Elfland. Yeah, Falconic, Corneria didn't just have level 1 magic. I will show you in just a second. Correct. There were non-level 1 spells in Corneria. Yeah, that surprised me too. I almost messaged you, but here you are. That's fine. It's okay. It will still show off how to get through the early game with them not being level 1. With not having good spell selection. Yeah, so level 7, level 8, level 4, level 1, 1, 8, 7, 7. So, yeah. No, boys, I did say adversity, and that's why I said, you know what, it's fine, we'll deal with it. Okay, we do have tents, so this is good news. This is going to let us get around a little bit faster. Okay, so we got a good amount of shopping done here. Weapons and armor. Still don't have enough money to really be able to buy all the weapons or all the armor that I want here. Okay, so we do not have free bridge, so our only choice is to go over to Elfland and in that area. That border on the game screen. Oh, thanks, Specty. I put that together with stream elements. We could use some money and some experience points, and Gur Ogres and Ogres are good for that, so we're going to see how this fight goes. It's probably going to take a little while because we've got weak magic, but hopefully we'll be able to get through it. We do have a house, and we are close to Dwarf Cave, so... Okay, I did not expect this fight to take literally all of my resources. This is going to be a thing. Yeah! Punch for 1 damage. Took him down. Okay, well, there goes that house. Yeah. I do want to fight the ogre just because he is good experience points. There we go. All right. So, Dwarf Cave, we got 2 chests here that are open to us. Good money, and more money. Alright. Volcanic, you didn't happen to change some of my chest layouts, did you? The only thing we found so far is money in one house. I mean, to be fair, the king gave us a ribbon, or princess gave us a ribbon, so at least we have some resists on our red mage. Alright, so we don't have a crown, so there's no point in hitting up Astos' castle. Okay. Yep, that's what I thought. I'm just a little bit amused that I have nothing available to me. It's like the game knows what I was going for or something. Well, now we're out of spell charges. That's cute. There we go. 1 down. And 2 down. So there we go. I'm just going to use a 10. I'm not going to worry about using my potions on my red wizard, red mage. So again, I got an ambush on this fight, so if you get an ambush, you can always run away. Okay, we have a silver sword. There we go. So, this time, unlike last time, I am going to buy silver swords, and I am going to buy them for both my fighter and my red mage, because we likely will need them. Okay, so we have an AoE spell available for level 2, so that's nice. So we're going to pick up Lit 2. for both our Black Mage and our Red Mage. That's going to make going through Marsh Cave significantly easier. Harm 2 is good. Oh, right. Lit 2 was actually level 3. Or level 2. Okay. I gotta remember to look at my levels here because, this is not what I'm used to seeing. Okay, so Harm 2 is not learnable to you. Soft is not learnable to you. We will pick up Soft on the White Mage. That also means I need to look at my spells again. Okay, so Lock 2. Lock 2 is an interesting spell. It lowers enemy evasion, so that could be good for the really late game, but that's a lot of resources to spend on it now, and it's not something I need right away. So I'm going to avoid spending the money there. I'm going to pick up the Iron Gauntlet, and I'm going to pick up the Wooden Shield. Wooden Shield mainly because it's so cheap. And I am going to pick up a Pro Ring and put it on our White Mage. So that way at least we have some resist starting to go around. That'll also give her a little bit of Absorb. Although, really the White Mage is not able to contribute to combat right now, so I'm changing my mind already. I'm going to put that on the Black Mage. Okay, so houses are not very expensive, so we're going to pick up a couple of those. Okay, so level 1 Zap is good. Level 2 Quad X is really good. That's going to give us some instant kill options. Unfortunately, we don't have much in the way of money because I was a noob and spent it all. So let's prioritize getting Zap for the Black Mage, because that affects all enemies in a group as opposed to a single enemy. So that gives us at least an option. It might not be direct damage, but we have an option that could potentially kill things. Life at level 1, that's really nice, but again, I've spent all my money. So I did a poor job managing my resources. I should have really checked all of my spells before spending any of my money. But it's a little late for that now. So now we have a choice. We could go to Crescent Lake, and we could go... I think open progression is on, so I could go up to Provoca. So those are 2 key items available for me. Do we have anything to really get through the river system? Well, we have Lit 2, and we have some houses, so we could potentially get through the river system. Other points of consideration, armor is not great to get through there, but it is probably enough. We have lots of camping gear. Also, Marsh Cave is just... it's out of the way, and if I'm going to check chests, then I might as well check a area that has better chest density. And if I'm looking at that, my first thought is Volcano Armory. The second floor of Volcano has a very large group of chests. I could go there for money and equipment and be much better suited before trying to go to Marsh Cave, which has a lot of enemies and a lot of potential to be very dangerous. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and buy another house so that way I have more options for restoring spell charges. And then we're going to head over to Crescent Lake. Those fights with 1 Asps, they're probably not going to use that many resources, so I could probably just melee them to death with my silver swords. Not a big deal, though. Okay, so here we have our first fight that's going to give us a really decent amount of experience points here. So I am going to take this fight. Lit 2 takes out Kariz pretty easily, and with 2 silver swords, the Ocho is not going to be long for this world. Okay, so there we go, getting a couple of levels. Now everybody's level 7. That'll help. So using a tent immediately to save that experience that we just got, because you never know when you're going to take one step and get in a fight. It happened before I could even say it. A 2-pack of Caribs is not much in the way of experience points. If there were like 4 or more, I would probably take that fight. So here, I'm going to go ahead and use a tent, just because we don't know what the stages are going to give us. It could be an item that, not a key item. It could be a castable item or something in the incentive pool that's not a key item. And if that is the case, it's probably good anyway, but anytime you're at like a fork on the road like that, it can be a good option to go ahead and throw down a saving item. So again, going to check all of my shops just to make sure that I see my options. Silver armor here in Crescent Lake, that's important because later I could buy silver armor for the red wizard. Well, red mage can equip it as well. Scimitar, not great. So level 6 magic, we've got Cure 2 at level 3. Unfortunately, very expensive. Ice 2 level 7. Okay, so some options, but not anything I'm going to be able to cast anytime soon. If I look at my spell levels, I've only got level 3 magic available to me. Next level, level 8, I will start getting level 4 spell charges. But that's still nowhere near enough to cast level 6 and level 7 magic. Here we've got a Thor hammer, and I'm immediately going to trade that to Sarah. So Sarah now has a good option for combat. This white mage, who didn't really have much to contribute, now suddenly has infinite lit 2s. So now I'm going to be able to take out a much wider array of enemies, and I'm going to be relying on that lit 2 to be able to get me through a lot of the early game. And that can be something that's very important, is finding yourself a castable item and realizing that you can rely a lot on that to get you through some dungeons or fights that you might not have the resources to take out otherwise. So here it looks like Hydra's rolled a decent amount of hit points. So unfortunately we're going to go to round 2. There we go, now we're starting to take them down. Unfortunately I got bad turn orders, so Sarah didn't get to go use her Thor hammer to save me some spell charges. It's a little bit unfortunate. So here, because I have lit 2 on a castable item, I can afford to run lit 2 run. If I'm not going to waste any spell charges and Sarah goes before anybody succeeds in running away, that will give me some extra experience points rather than just running away to safety. So here I intentionally didn't save going into the volcano. I could have used a healing, a save item outside, but in case I don't find anything good here, I want to have the option of resetting back to that fork in the road. So I found armor. I'm equipping it as soon as I have it, because that will make the rest of this dive safer. Of course, armor does not protect against squint, so much for that. Now this is a fight that I really don't want to be taking. Unfortunately, I don't have great options for running away. So it's a little bit of a Hail Mary, but I'm going to throw out Zap to hopefully remove some of these giants in case I don't run away quickly. It didn't actually matter this time, because I got out quickly. But anything you can do to minimize threats, even if it's killing enemies while trying to run away, can sometimes be a good option. Here we got the Ruby. That's going to open up Sarda as soon as we have the ship in TNT, or it would open up the Titan's Trove if we get to the airship without having the ship in TNT. Heal Staff is another great item that's going to help me conserve on spell charges and such as I'm going through dungeons. Given the fact that Sarah now does have the Thor hammer, I'm going to go ahead and give her the Pro Ring and the Absorb. Aegis Shield, going to be a great item for after class change. And now we have unrunnable fires. So what do you do in this situation? Well, remember that we got Zap. And Zap is time magic. And there's only one enemy in the game that resists time magic, and that's Chaos. So Zap is low accuracy AoE instant death. So it's not going to be reliable. But in this case, where I've got just one Lit 2 left and only fire against these fires, Zap is going to be a better option here, even though it's a bit of a Hail Mary, because I have to get through this fight or reset. In this case, we get very fortunate, and it takes out both fires. Awesome. And sometimes that's just what happens with the randomizer is someone gets lucky in a run. It is often better to be lucky than good, although certainly skill is very important. But sometimes you have those situations where you have to just rely on random chance. Okay, so we saved a good amount of items. We got some money and equipment, so we're gonna go ahead and head on out. So now we have a choice. Either we can run back to Crescent Lake and revive the fighter, or just try and keep going on. Oh, hey Antlers, how's it going? That's the league race yesterday where one person got Brack to work on Kraken, the other managed to Brack Tiamat. Yeah, that happens. Are we talking Kraken 1 or Kraken 2, though? As well as Tiamat 1 or Tiamat 2? Because Tiamat 1 is actually weak to Brack and Bane, and Kraken 1 does not resist Brack or Bane. So even though it's like a chance for instant death, it is actually a fairly reliable chance to land Brack on those two fiends. So you will often hear people talk about Brack strats, and what they mean is like using that advantage that Brack and Bane have a good chance of landing on Kraken 1 and Tiamat 1. Siege is going so far, going okay so far. We have a dearth of magic available to us. Harm 2, Soft, Zap, Fire, Lit 2 being our only spells right now. But we got ourselves a canoe. So we're going to head up to Provoca and hopefully be able to buy some better spells, fight the pirates, take out the take them out and get their key item. So we're getting there. Again, bad turn order, wasting both of my actual Lit 2s, but I went ahead and used that because I'm going to go ahead and use a house to restore my spell charges now. Not the super friendly spell list from the other day. Yeah, exactly. Gotta go get some sleep. Alright, Simnoy, thanks for stopping by. Again, we're gonna do run, Thorhammer, run. Thorhammer gets a really good roll there and actually takes out the ogre in one shot. That's really nice. So finding that Thorhammer is going to do a lot to accelerate this early game. This could have been a very poor situation where I would have to manage spells very closely. It's still not a great situation, but at least I am better prepared now. Mute, Wall, A Mute, and A Rub at level 2. So we're going to pick up Wall, because Wall gives all resistances to whoever is targeted by the spell. So essentially, you can give them a ribbon in the middle of combat. So that's a good spell. Lit at level 3, Slow at level 2, Stop at level 5. Well, Stop is interesting. Stop is a good spell. I actually wish it wasn't level 5 here, because that could be very handy. Because it has a chance of landing stun on all enemies. Unfortunately, that's going to be off the table, and boy, it's just not the level 3 spells that I was hoping to see. I could take Lit here, but that's probably a waste of a spell charge, so I'm going to elect not to. Boy, that heal staff sells for a lot of money, and I'm probably not going to get a lot of use for it throughout the course of running through the game. So I'm actually going to go ahead and sell the heal staff. Now I have a choice here for the fighter weapons, the silver sword versus the silver axe. And they're both very good weapons. Silver sword has more accuracy, whereas silver axe has more damage. So I'm going to kind of take a look at my fighter's hit percent here. I'm at 46, and with the silver axe, I have 41, whereas damage is 38 versus 36. So I'm trading 5 accuracy for 2 damage. That 2 damage is really only, what, 2 to 4 damage per hit? So I'm gonna go with the extra accuracy over the axe. Yeah, Specty, rule number 2 of FFR, never equip axes. I've had some runs where I've had to rely on a light axe, so it can get the job done if you need it to. Well, here's the crown, which is great and all. It's not really what I want to see, but I'm definitely going to buy the key item while I'm here. So, unfortunately, there goes some of my money that I had. I am going to pick up the buckler, except apparently he can't hold any more armor right now, so we're going to put it on a different character and trade it over. Just because that's going to give him some extra defensive stats. Now, I've already got a silver helmet on my knight, and nobody else in my party can equip a silver helmet. So I'm going to go ahead and sell that one off. 4 houses. I'm going to go ahead and buy just a few more while I'm here. And we're going to go ahead and take out the pirates and be on our way. I forgot to pick up my fighter. That was silly. Oh well. Not a big deal. Pirates are going to go down very easily. They have basically no hit points. At base, pirates have 6 HP, so even if they rolled 500%, which is the maximum that FFR will let you go right now, that would only be 30 hit points, and Light 2 would still take them out in a single fight. I'm going to do a fight right as I was typing a reminder. Yeah, thanks. That's okay. We got extra EXP on our mages. That's not a bad thing. So defense sword here is nice. It casts ruse, so that's going to be a great defensive option for later in the game. Unfortunately, it's not what we need right now. I can't equip it for damage until class change. And ruse isn't really what I need. So I got that crown, and that crown is going to let us go do the Mystic Key quest chain. And I'm kind of inclined to do that, although it's really frustrating that I would have to do that without a bridge, because that means a lot of running around to get to Matoya to turn in the crystal when I get it. So that's less than ideal. On the other hand, if I do the Mystic Key quest chain, I could go ahead and do all of Marsh Cave, including the keylock chests, and get both incentive locations out of the way. So it might not be ideal, but I think that's what we're going to do. The other thing is that's going to make me do a lot of running around, and that will force me to get some extra EXP as I'm going through the river systems and taking fights and such, and things like that. So well, that was rude. So it could always be worse. Hydras have Hydras are a good source of EXP. Unfortunately, they rolled high on hit points, so it's going to take us a little while to take them out. But it is still probably worth the time if they don't kill too many of my party members. Okay, scratch that. I should not be taking Hydras. They just take way too long to kill. So we're going to stop off at Crescent Lake and revive my Black Mage. It'll make the journey over to Elfland a little bit safer, plus I want him to be getting experience to cast more spells. Silver armor was available here. Let's get that. I just have crazy HP for this part in the game normally. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right. I did turn the enemy percentages up from the last tutorial video that we did. Also to kind of highlight dealing with adversity. So in this case, enemies have 180%. 180% is pretty common for what you would see if it was like a tournament or league race or something like that. I am very comfortable with 180%, so I don't feel too bad about doing this to myself. Again, it's just trying to highlight dealing with adversity and showing that off in the run. There we go. Good turn order. Get the Thor's Hammer off. Level 13 now on some of my mages. Okay. Getting there. So, again, 2 Karibs, just not enough to take. And you can also use free tiles along the river system. Okay. So we're going to stop off here in Elfland, and we now have a little bit better of a money situation. Since we're really close to a town, I'm going to go ahead and start throwing out all of my spells, just because I'm going to be able to restore them at the end. I just want this battle to go more quickly. And we get 1 extra level on our Black Mage for the process. Alright. So I want to get Zap for my Red Mage. And I want to get Quad X for my Black Mage. And I want to get Life for my Red Mage and my White Mage. Well, I don't have enough money for all that, so Life for the White Mage is what I'm going to have to settle with. And we're going to go ahead and save. A good rule of thumb is that if you can finish a fight in 1 turn, do it. Like if you have excess spell charges, run spellcast. Exactly, Specty. That is exactly what I like to do. If you have a castable item or a lot of spell charges on a level, particularly if it's something like Lit 3, Ice 2 or something like that, where it's going to kill the enemies, but it's not a critical spell for getting you through the dungeons, I really like the run cast strategy. It is better to take a little bit of time casting a spell and seeing the fanfare for killing enemies than it is to fail running 3 turns in a row. So I would much rather do that. Alright, so here we go. We have Astos. So now we have Quad X. And Quad X is an amazing spell. If any enemy has 300 or fewer hit points and they are not immune to the death element, Quad X will kill them instantly. So Astos has taken 52 damage, so if he had even 352 HP at the start of that fight, he would have died to Quad X right there. So we got the Crystal. So Crystal's good. Unfortunately, that means we have to go all the way back around to get to Matoya. This is going to take a really long time on foot, but unfortunately that's what the game makes you do sometimes, so off we go. Who resists death? Is it just undead and lich and chaos? No. I believe all of the fiends actually resist death. There are also plenty of enemies throughout the game that have death resist. In particular, I can think of golems. I think most of the dragons resist death. I'm not 100% up to date on my... oh, no, most of the dragons... Not all of the dragons resist death. Golems definitely do. Who else can you not quad X? You can't quad X elementals. So fires, earths, airs, waters. Yeah, J-Lo, unfortunately no bridge yet. Oh yeah, you're right, Specty. You're right, you can quad X carry, Kraken, Tiamat, 1 and 2. No, you're right. But I know elementals at least you can't resist, can't quad X. So yeah, let's see if Hydras have 300 or fewer hit points. Well, Sarah ran away, so not happening today. So unfortunately, sometimes the game just takes you on these long goose chases. If you have to do this the slow way, but doing the key quest is always, almost always a good idea the second you find the crown. Yes, there are other incentive locations that I could have checked. Like, I could have checked the Marsh Cave chest, the one that the wizards guard. But I want to do the Mystic Key quest before going into Marsh Cave, so that way I can do all of Marsh in one go. Because the locked Marsh Cave is also incentivized. So rather than having to come back, I would like to be able to do all of that at the same time. But yes, J-Lo is absolutely right. Doing the key quest chain is often something you want to do very, very quickly. And obviously, the more resources you have to do it quickly, like bridge, ship, airship, it goes a little bit faster. But even with just the canoe on open progression, you can take the river system and make your way all the way around. Okay, so Mage Staff is another one of those items that casts a spell. So Mage Staff casts Fire 2. We're actually going to give that to the Red Mage, just to let him conserve some spell charges. My Black Mage is going to get more spell charges. The Red Mage is going to be able to attack single targets for large amounts of damage. And now he'll be able to cast freely Fire 2, so this is good. This is going to give us some good options for being able to clear dungeons. Unfortunately, it's relying on some lower damage spells, but this is early in the game, so Fire 2 and Lit 2 are going to do a great job of getting me through. So again, mostly just running away from these fights because they're garbage. I'm going to take an opportunity to go ahead and save, just to save the progress in case I see something terrible that I haven't seen already. If I found myself really strapped for cash, I could go up to the Peninsula Power by Provoca and grind some zombie Ds or not zombie Ds, but zombles or some giants. Both of those are good sources of money and experience points. Hey, Dark Shiny Garatina. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thanks for showing your support. Alright, so now we're finally making it over to Elfland, and finally going to get to turn in the herb to get our Mystic Key. So, you can see that even though it took a while to go walk around like that, it wasn't too bad. It's doable, and while not ideal, certainly it can be done, and it can... who knows, maybe we'll find something in these key lock chests that really makes that worth that time. So, we shall see. There I accidentally took one too many steps. If you walk even one tile too far beyond the castle walls. Adamant. Now that's really nice. Well, it's nice. Because Excalibur is a great sword. Unfortunately, I just remembered can't use that until after class change. So, this is what it is. Silver Knife, meh, it's okay. I wonder, can you use the Mage Staff? No, you can't actually equip it. So, I will probably not end up swinging that, but I generally equip it just in case. So Rub is available there, and I could pick it up. Yes, JLo. Excalibur is a very good find for after class change. Absolutely, because of the fact that Excalibur does bonus damage against every enemy type. So let's talk about enemy types real quick, because that's something that I mentioned both in the last tutorial video and this one. And I didn't really fully explain what that means. Oh, no. Life isn't available for my red mage. Let's hope that I can learn that after class change. Let's pick up heal 2. So that'll give me some healing outside of battle. Red mage can also learn heal 2, but I have a limited supply of money, so I'm going to see if I can't finish picking up some of these different spells first. Level 6 Confuse? I don't know if spell charge is level 6. You know what? I'm actually getting close to level 6. So let's go ahead and pick up Confuse. The reason I'm picking up Confuse is to show off the status weakness of Carry when I eventually get there. So Carry is susceptible to status ailments, Hold, and Confuse and Sleep and spells like that actually work on Carry quite frequently. Jumped on the Fog 2 hype train for a bit, but I found it 99% useless. It's only okay against Kraken and Kraken 2. Yeah, Fog really shines when enemies have a lot of hits. So things like Gurmedusas and Kraken 2. It does a lot to negate some of that damage that they can do. However, it's not something that you can really generally rely on commonly. If you have the option between Invis 2 and Fog 2, it is almost entirely better to use Invis 2, at least until you've stacked evade stacks, because it is better to just not be hit than take less damage when you are hit. But to get back to the enemy types, I'm not going to go north. I could go north and get 4 chests up there, but I really don't feel like I need to, and I can check one of those chests on the south path. But to go back to enemy types, there are hidden enemy types in the game, where, so like Red D's and Frost D's are dragon type enemies, and certain weapons do bonus damage to those enemy types. So like Undead take more damage from the Sun Sword, for instance. And Imps technically count as like the giant enemy type, so take extra damage from the giant sword. Any of those types of enemies will give certain weapons bonus damage, and the Excalibur has every bonus damage in the game. So if it is a giant, it does extra damage. If it is an undead, it does extra damage. All of those enemy types, which is what makes Excalibur such an amazing weapon, because for basically any enemy, short of some of the endgame bosses, you will be doing a lot of bonus damage on those fights. So here we have unrunnable wizards. Just throw out Lit 2. Wizards resist ice and fire, so if you find yourself needing to do AoE damage to them, lightning is the way to go, because they will not take less damage from it. There's one that you forgot, Specty. Excal, Dump Trucks, everything except Round 2 Fiends, Chaos, and Warmech. It does not do bonus damage to Warmech. Or at least I don't think it does. So since we have the Mystic Key, I'm going to go ahead and show off the Mystic Key chest down here. So, this room right here, the tile directly to my right has a trap tile, and the tile above the chest has a trap tile on it. You can actually get through this chest without any trap tiles if you take this path and that path only. This chest has a trap tile from the left and also a trap tile from the bottom. Cobras aren't too bad. I'm going to go ahead and throw out my castable items and run away. And if I kill them, I get experience points, and if I don't, then I run away. Power Staff is basically garbage, except that it sells for a whole lot of money. So, anytime you see the Power Staff, it's just a cash stick. Alright, I'm going to use a couple of heal potions before I take this last encounter here. Well, except I get an encounter on the step before it, of course, because that's how Randomizer works. Well, I mean, actually, that's how Final Fantasy works. It's not the Randomizer's fault. Again, a couple of Lit 2s, and I'm going to get through this fight fairly quickly. I'm not going to waste the second round of spells. I'll just swing my Silver Sword. Look at that! Bill actually used the Silver Dagger and killed something. Okay, so loot. So, we could have put off this dungeon for a very long time. You're never going to know that ahead of time, though. So, it is what it is. So, I'm running from almost all of these fights. They're just not worth a whole lot of experience points. They're going to use up resources. I just want to get away as quickly as possible. Here I'm going to use Run Lightning Hammer strats just because of the fact that they have Poison Touch, and white mages have terrible run chance anyway. Unfortunately, it didn't actually kill any of them, so it was kind of a wasted effort, but it is what it is. Gonna use Heal 2 to save a couple of healing potions. Conserving resources, especially in mid-dungeon, is very important. Oh, this is a good song. Happy Accidents is a very fun song. I really enjoy it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and equip that cloth armor. It's not going to be great, but it is one absorb. And you'll notice, I didn't mean to do this, but I paused inside the doorway here, and that created this phantom door graphic. That's just door glitch. It doesn't actually do anything, it's just kind of funny. But anytime you pause inside of a menu, that happens. See how now the tile above the door has glitched out? Oh, interesting. If door glitch is already there and you do it again, does it just clear? That's weird. I don't know. Floor door. Yep, hype is just door glitch. Oh. I feel that, Specty. It sucks that you would love to have some chips and queso but can't. That sucks, man. Sorry to hear that. Okay, so we got the adamant, so we're going to go get our X-Cal. We're also going to get some of these locked chests that are up here in the north section of the game, and then hopefully never come back to Corneria and different areas. There's our X-Cal. Alright, I don't actually have TNT, so I can't get the canal. Procade, yeah. As well as a silver bracelet. There we go, getting some good stuff. Okay, so we're going to put the silver bracelet here. We're going to give the better armor to the white mage because white mage has life, and life is important. And it is better to be able to res my black mage than keep my black mage alive over my white mage. Okay. There's only 3 keylock chests inside Temple of Fiends, so I'm not going to worry about checking those. But because there's an incentive item here in Castle Corneria, I am going to go here. Yeah, Trap Tile Shuffle is interesting. Okay, so our incentive item here is a opal bracelet. So that's one of the things that is on the randomizer, is that you can incentivize the opal bracelet, which is the best mage armor in the game. Any class can equip the opal bracelet, and it gives a whole lot of defense. Okay, so I actually have Aegis Shield and Opal Shield. And I can't use both of them, so while I'm here in Corneria, I'm going to go ahead and sell the Opal Shield. I try a rando tonight before raid and try a BB grind. Yeah, Black belts are really good in the end game. And they are a great resource in a seed that has very tough enemies. However, if you find yourself in seeds that don't have very strong bosses, then the potential of a black belt kind of goes to waste. Kind of somewhere between the like 200 to 250 range. Probably closer to 250, is where black belt really starts to start paying out. Because if things roll on the high end of 250, they can end up having a lot of absorb, a lot of evade, and the extra hits and extra damage that the black belt gets can really start coming in handy. Lower than that, you might as well have a fighter because of the extra absorb that they get, and not having to do a grind and not having to put off class change. But they certainly can be good. It's just the harder the seed is, the better the black belt becomes. Because they are, without a doubt, the strongest physical damage dealer in the game, in the late game. Here we got Bane Sword. Bane Sword's real nice because that's going to cast instant death on all enemies. It's poison and earth elemental, poison earth. So that's going to be really good for Tiamat and Kraken. And just generally good for being able to clear large groups of enemies instantly. I've gotten some really nice casting magic, so the fact that my spells are not good is kind of being forgiven. Okay, so we checked most of Marsh, and we checked a lot of the chests that we have available. So now we have Volcano and Ice available to us. So which do we do first? Do we do Volcano or do we do Ice? Well, the annoying part about Ice is that it is a very long dungeon, and particularly you have to go through Death Touch sorcerers and Fire 3 and Lit 3 mages, and a lot of undead fights in there that can be pretty nasty. So I'm going to shy away from doing that just yet, and instead opt to go do Volcano first. So I'm going to stop off at Crescent Lake and buy more healing potions. I want to have a good stock of heal pots before I go into Volcano to be able to heal myself from the fire damage tiles. It's important to note that while walking on the fire tiles in Volcano, every step deals 1 point of damage to you. However, while you're walking on those steps, you cannot get into random encounters. So most of the time, you will see people walking on those fire tiles to save the time and be able to heal up rather than having to deal with random battles. Yes, exactly, JLo. And the red D chest is incentivized in this. This particular ROM has all incentive chests checked and all incentive items turned on to be able to show off the different kinds of items you can see in the pool and where those locations are. And JLo also pointing out the fact that this is also a Fiend dungeon, and basically as soon as I get the incentive item, I will be able to teleport out. So I haven't used any spell charges on the way over here, so I can just use a tent rather than using a house. I'm going to do a quick soft reset right there just because I got into a fight so fast that I want to be able to save myself a little bit of time. Sphinx is here. I'm going to go ahead and use some of my castables. Here we have Bane actually lands on both of them. So showing off again that Bane spell has a chance to kill any enemy in a fight. Sometimes just throwing it out randomly can get you through a tough encounter very quickly. It is important to note, however, that if an enemy resists poison or earth, Bane will only land 3 out of 256 times. So it is important to know your weaknesses. For instance, if you try and Bane a Nightmare, you will be sitting there all day trying to get Bane to land because it's only going to work that 3 out of 256. Now that being said, that 3 out of 256 can work on anything, including Chaos. And we very recently saw a match where where a race was won by somebody using a Bane Sword on Chaos. Black Shirt the Nightmare? Exactly, Specty. Black Shirt does ice damage, and Nightmares are weak to ice. So that is the correct option to use in those fights. And I have made a poor choice and not healed up my Black Mage before coming into this battle. So because everybody needs hit points here, I'm using charges of Heal 2. I'm not going to use Heal 2 in battle because it just does not restore HP. So rather than spending a bunch of time using potions, I'm just going to quickly use those Heal 2 charges. We don't have a Thief, so Katana is not great for us, but it is a cash sword, so we'll make a lot of money by selling it. Ice Shield is going to give us resist against, it's either ice or fire, I don't remember which one's which. In order to check this last chest here, there is a trap tile here. You will always have a Grey Worm fight if you step on this tile. There is a trap tile to the left. The bottom of that top chest is a trap tile, which is why you see me taking that that walking pattern that I did. And remember that anytime you're walking along the very bottom row of a room that has a door, you will not get into a fight there. So there I threw out Quad X against that Cerberus, just kind of testing their HP. I now know that Cerberus have more than 300 hit points, and I don't want to take those fights. Okay, so here we found another Pro Cape, which is great news. I'm going to drop the Heal Helm. I would only be selling it anyway if I did eventually dig it out, as well as the cap here. Those are the worst pieces of armor I have. Although I guess in hindsight I probably should have dropped the iron armor, since that's where the thing was going. Although the one absorbed from that cap does not make a difference. That chest on the right side of this room is linked to other chests on this floor, so I don't actually need to go check it. So here I'm going to go ahead and fight this Agama, just to get this chest here behind the trap tile. Also to kind of see how much hit points they have. Looks like they rolled up on hit points, so I'm not too keen on taking Agama fights. I wanted that knowledge though, because I'm about to take 2 Agama fights as I'm checking this red D trap tile here. So while these Agama fights probably aren't going to do that much damage to me, I'm just being cautious here because I would rather not have to heal up again before the red D. So this tile here is an Agama tile. I'm going to go ahead and just run away from this fight because we found out how many hit points they have. Our Giant, we'll test the waters here. So 347 or fewer hit points on red Giants. That makes them worth taking if I see single groups like that, because I'll be able to Quad X them down very quickly. That red D does not have very many hit points. And we get the Mazmune. Okay, so where do we put the Mazmune? I think for now, let's go ahead and just put the Mazmune on the Knight. Once I'm able to equip that Excalibur, I will move the Mazmune to another character, so that way I have more good physical attackers. Okay, so now we know that progression is more than likely in the Ice Cave. It is probably the floater and Ice Cave. Now that we have the Mazmune, I will go ahead and throw out a couple of physical attacks, because I should be able to take him down in one round. The Mazmune just does an insane amount of damage for this early in the game. because nothing is going to have anywhere near enough absorb to be able to take low amounts of damage from the Mazmune. It is either Vanilla Floater in Ice Cave, or the TNT is in a loose chest that I have not checked so far. So it is important to note that as of right now, I have skipped the chests in the north side of Marsh Cave. I have skipped the 3 Keylock chests in Temple of Fiends. I skipped some of the chests here in Volcano Floor 2. And because it could be a loose TNT chest, I am going to check every chest in Ice Cave. So here the Red Mage, well, the Red Mage has okay options, I guess. I'll have him attack with the Silver Sword. The Black Mage, on the other hand, does not have really good options, so I'm going to have him throw out Zap. It could land. Not today. 4 hits for 195. So Carrie has, I believe, 600 hit points base. So probably not within Quad X range just yet. So I'm going to throw out another Zap, and starting on round 3, I'm going to go ahead and start throwing Quad X. Because the second carry is lower than 300 hit points, Quad X will take her down. Or the Knight will just prove me wrong and do a lot of damage and just take him out. So, Specty, there are no loose incentive items with everything incentivized plus all of the incentive locations. But it is possible that it is a ship TNT seed, although not likely at this point, because I just realized I also have not seen the ship. So it is very, very likely at this point that the floater is sitting there for me in Ice Cave. But you always have to respect, even if they're not incentivized, ship, TNT, Ruby, and Bridge could always throw your key items around a little bit on you, just based on where they land. Because it is very possible that I find a key item here in Ice Cave that is not the floater, and therefore would still have progression somewhere, but I have other incentive items I can go check. So I have the Ruby, so I can go talk to Sarda, if we got the ship in TNT, and could of course also go check out Earth Cave with ship in TNT, or Castle Ordeals. Now again, I haven't seen ship or TNT just yet, so it is more likely that that I will find floater here, but not guaranteed. Okay, so again, wizard fights. I'm going to avoid spending spell charges here and rely more on Mazmune as well as Thor Hammer and Bane Sword. Although I'm not sure if Bane Sword can actually land on these guys. Sorcerers are not what I want to see at all, and that's exactly why. Okay, so we use Thor Hammer because White Mage has a terrible run chance, so it is better for us to try and kill these than to run away. So I'm having my fighter attack the one with the most hit points left here. Fortunately, second Lit 2 takes them out. I think they resist everything but lightning. I'm not sure if they resist everything but lightning. Like, I think Quad X might still work on wizards. However, they do resist fire, ice, I know. But I don't know about some of the other ones. Like, I don't know if Quake will work on them or Bane or such. So here I'm throwing out some Fire 2 and Harm 2 just to try and thin the herd of these undead packs as I'm running away. Again, if they die and I get experience points, great. If they just, if it only kills some of them and I run away, then that's also good. So I just noticed that my fighter is level 18. That means I am now in the range of missing out on spell charges. Again, ideally, you want to be able to promote your party members by level 14 or before if you don't have a black belt in your party, because level 15 is when the ninja and knight start learning spell charges. So unfortunately, mages have really high ambush rate, and fortunately they are only using Rub, but now they're going to start using Lit 3, which is bad news for us. We do not want Lit 3'd, and that chest only had money, so not great. Okay, so down we go. Okay, so over here, these two chests are going to be guarded by Frosties. I'm going to attempt to Quad X them. Okay, so there's two of them here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Mazmune, Mage Staff, Thor Hammer, and Quad X, and this should be able to take them out in one round. They rolled pretty low on HP, so that's really good news. If we really felt like we needed to, we could even sit here and grind for a little while on them. I'm not going to do that, but we could. Fortunately, that time the mages did not ambush us, and we got to run away. Vorpal, that's, again, another nice weapon for after class change. So that light axe is something that we can do for groups of undead. So let's actually give you the light axe. Let's give you the Bane sword. Now everybody has a castable that they can use in battle. I did skip one chest there. There's a trap tile with Frosties there that casts Frost. I really just didn't feel like fighting them. And here we get petrified by cockatrices, so that's unfortunate. Because I think, once again, we haven't seen any soft potions yet. And kind of getting a little sick of that. Yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead and just drop the ice armor here for the pro ring. So now all my mages have pro rings. The fact that all my mages have pro rings makes me a little bit tempted to give the ribbon over to the knight. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the ribbon on the red mage. Oh, you're right, Specty. I do have the soft spell. I absolutely should have used the soft spell. Okay, the fact that Bane is missing against all of these here tells me that they are probably resistant to it. Okay, now the fact that I found so many pro rings is really nice. This eye should go down fairly easily. And in fact is also quad-Xable. And vanilla floater. Okay, so that's good news for us. The fact that the eye is quad-Xable and there's nothing else in this dungeon that really needs my quad-X's, I think I'm going to go ahead and burn off all of my... Oh, but it's shared with lit too. And I want to have stuff to be able to do against mages. Okay, so I don't really feel like I need to grind it. I'm also level 20 on everybody, so I don't really need to grind for levels. Money situation is also really good, 120k. So I could sit here and farm the eye for a little while if I felt like I needed to, but I'm not going to. Dan red white grind to level 30 on fighter black. I could Specty, but I really don't need to. With only 180 enemy percents, I feel very confident that I'm starting to get into the level range where I'm going to be able to take out Temple of Fiends even. So I'm not terribly concerned about trying to sit here and farm eyes. At this point, it's really more a matter of just getting there and getting into Temple of Fiends and lighting all my orbs. Still do have to find some incentive items, though. In single large enemy fights, Mazimune run works just as well as run nuke, so... Yeah, exactly, Specty. I'll probably be higher than level 24, honestly. I am going to guess that my levels end up, because I have so many incentive items, or incentive locations to check yet, and there's a little bit of scaling on XP from key items. I'm going to guess I'm going to end up level about 27 going into Temple of Fiends Revisited. While I'm here, I'm going to remind myself what spells were, because I didn't take too close of a look at this. I will pick up Cure 2 for you. So this spell selection is interesting. Hold and Bane are both okay at level 6. Saber would be not bad if the Red Wizard could actually learn it, but this slot is unlearnable. I believe it's slot 4 Black Magic that Red Mage can learn, or Red Wizard can learn, and slots 1, 2, 3 in white, something like that, or slot 1 in black and slots 2, 3, 4 in white. I don't remember exactly, but ultimately I'm not really thrilled about that level of spell selection, so I'm going to go ahead and just go get our floater, And then it's time to start checking some of the remaining incentive locations and doing any loose fetch quests that we have. Speaking of which, we have Ruby to be able to check Titan's Trove, and we have Rod to be able to do Earth Cave. So that sounds like a great area to go do next since I have all of those things. So let's go ahead and go to Sarda. We'll get our key item here. Then we'll hit up the Titan's Trove, and then we'll do Earth Cave while we're in the area. Can't hold the white shirt. Well, that's definitely an item I want. So I'm going to hang on to the Aegis Shield because that's a really good endgame weapon, or armor, rather, and throw the white shirt here. Late for this class, sorry, Professor. How's it going, Romuluses? Yeah, classes in section. We're doing what to do when the game throws some adversity at you, and the spell list is a little bit barren, you might notice. So we don't have great magic. We finally just got our airship here at the 1 hour and 20-minute mark, and so now we're on our merry way to go play the rest of the game. Fortunately for us, we found the Bane Sword, we found the Mage Staff, and we found the Power Hammer, Thor Hammer. So we've been able to kind of make do with some of these castable items. But you definitely missed some Iron Staff and Fire strats on Garland. And by Fire, I mean Fire 1. Dragon Sword, Gold Bracelet's good. It is certainly better than the Silver Bracelet. Yeah, Rom, we'll make it happen. We will definitely make it happen for another one of these. We'll see about when. I only have 35 heal potions, but Earth Cave isn't that bad of an area to go through. I'm not going to worry about checking the chests on the first floor. We already have the airship, and at this point we should only have progression available at the key item locations. I think it might also be true that I won't have any more non-progression items at incentive locations, because I think at this point I have found, I definitely found the white shirt, I found the opal bracelet, the opal bracelet, I found the ribbon, the Mazmune, Thor Hammer, so I think that is all of the possible incentive items, so I think at this point it should only be key items there. Rom, on that note, remind me to talk to you after this run. To be honest, if you really want to cover early adversity, the seed I had for my league match last night is a good choice. Sure, JLo, if you want, then you could send that seed flags to me, and I could run to it and cover something like that, especially in the context of trying to run it as if it was a race. Yeah, I'm actually kind of thinking, and let me know what you guys think about this idea, but kind of a kind of a series of videos where, hey, I rolled this seed and it was really terrible. What would you do in this situation if this was you playing? You guys could send me seeds and flags, and I could make a ROM and boot it up and give one of these self-commentated runs as I'm going through it about how I would approach the seed and maybe some thoughts I have about how to do it. Yeah, sounds good, JLo. And if that kind of thing sounds interesting to you guys, let me know, and that's something that I can do. Shadow wants your pain. Well, I want to help encourage learning more than I want the pain, Rom. But I know that there are sometimes seeds that are very frustrating to people, and sometimes seeing a different perspective on a seed can give you a very different view of the run. So that's something that I want to kind of shoot for and see if that helps you guys. Because often there are things about a seed where you might think that the seed is terrible and it might be very painful for you going through it. But somebody else looking at that seed might see some tools in the kit that really can help them get through those tough spots. So here I'm going to check these top 5 chests. They're closer for me to check than those bottom chests that are very far away. Look at that, 2 hits, 22 damage on that black mage. Yeah, that's some damage right there. Oh, hey, look, TNT. All right, thanks, Rom. Yeah, good luck tracking tonight, and yeah, hit me up after you're done tracking, and I want to talk to you. Oh, I just realized that I went the bottom path, and I should have gone the middle path here. Technically, the middle path in Earth B4 is the fastest path. It saves 2 steps over that bottom route. Awesome, thanks, JLo. I got your seed. Alright, so Lich is a joke. We have Mazimune. We already killed Carrie. He literally just can't hurt us. Just so you know, Zap can in fact work on Lich. So we're going to throw out a couple of them and see if we can't get it to land. Exile! Bye-bye, Lich. Lich, despite being undead, is vulnerable to 2 instant death spells. He is vulnerable to Zap, as you just saw, as well as Quake. Alright. Hey, speaking of Quake, my spells for level 1? Life, Ruse, Fire, Zap. Yeah, we want to hold off on teaching you Ruse because we want the opportunity, hopefully, to be able to learn. Wow, those swords also help her a lot. We want to be able to learn Life at level 1, if possible, with our Red Mage. There we go. Sell some weapons that we don't need. Drop other weapons that we don't need. Now we don't have the slab, unfortunately, so we can't do that. We don't need any of this.
How did you do that? How did you do that?
So we don't have slab, we don't have the tail. We do have the bottle. We bought the vendor item already. So let's go ahead and go turn in the... let's go rescue the fairy and then talk to the fairy to get the Oxyel. Warp level 2. There we go. That's a good spell. Fire 3 at level 4. We'll take both of those. Thank you. Fade at level 5. We'll take that. We'll take that. There we go. So now we've got some spells available to us. Yep. Fast level 4, absolutely. I'll have another. Unfortunately, Temper and Lit 3 are level 8, so I just flat out can't learn those right now. Black Mage can't learn any level 8 spells until he promotes. Finally get some of those soft potions. Time to go get our Oxyel. We'll hit up the waterfall and then do Sea Shrine while we're in the area. We will need to go to the right side of Waterfall to go hit up the mermaids, because they will have a key item for us as well. Don't need to hit up the caravan because we already got the vendor item. Fight the Garpede. Got a first strike on him, although he's not going down as quickly as I thought he would. Oh well. There we go. Still went down in one round. Level 1 Ice 3 and level 1 Brack. Do you have 2 slots left? You do not. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get Brack. We'll show off some Fiend vulnerabilities using Brack. And level 3 Life 2. That's not Red Mage learnable. Oh no! I filled out that spell slot. No! Well, that's a bummer. go. As mentioned before, we're going to go through Waterfall real quick. So if I had to guess, I think that, oh wait, that means that there does have to be one more item that is available to us outside of, progression items. Because we have Waterfall, Ordeals, Sea Shrine, and Sky Castle left as incentive locations. And we have Tail, Slab, and Cube left to find. So, I mean, something's not accounted for. Because we already have the loot, we have the Mystic Keys, so that's both the items we need to get through Topher. I don't need any additional items to get through other areas. It's going to be Slab to Chime, and then, yeah, and the Cube. Okay, so interesting. I'm kind of hoping that I can skip Castle Ordeals, because I know that I'm very close to being able to clear the game. If I don't have to go do it, I would like to be able to avoid it. There was out of bounds bat in the bottom left. We use mostly our free spells. Yep, oob bat. Well, unfortunately, all the enemies that were vulnerable to Bane died before Bane's sword went off. Makes me sad. Hey, there's the cube. So vanilla. So I no longer need that. And there's a pro ring for my knight. So now all of my characters have pro rings. Yeah, there's been a fair bit of vanilla so far. We found the vanilla cube, we found the vanilla floater. It's a little bit sad. Okay, so time to go to talk to the mermaids. And since I'm already going this direction, I'm going to take a little bit of a detour just to show off the chest that is commonly referred to as TFC. That forgotten chest, of course, being what that is. Yeah, 50-50 chance of vanilla slab, you're right. Yep, TFC. So this room over here, the reverse C-shape room, as soon as I get through these ghosts. Ghosts that don't hit very hard today. That's unusual. So this odd-shaped room right over here, if you talk to the door, this door is locked by the Mystic Key. If you do not have the Mystic Key, you cannot go access this chest. And there have been plenty of times where something has landed there. And it's caused runners grief. Oh, nobody likes you, hags. Go away. Oh, and something that's a little bit outside of the game that can help with dealing with adversity. Oh wait, Zeus Gauntlet. Zeus Gauntlet's supposed to be incentivized. That's weird. We're gonna leave it. I don't need the Zeus Gauntlet. But something that can help deal with adversity that's outside of the game itself is getting comfortable. Obviously, in a race setting, you don't necessarily want to make yourself super comfortable. Okay, slab, wow. Well, we said it before, 50-50 chance of being vanilla. But whether that's having music on, something to relax to, make your environment as conducive as possible to not getting stressed out and not getting on tilt. Because the second that you get stressed out, the second that you let your run start getting to you and you start tilting, the run will get worse. It seems weird, it seems arbitrary, but it is 100% true. If you go on tilt, if things start going poorly and you let it get to you, it will affect your run. So whether that be playing background music or having people to chat and hang out with, assuming you're not in like a race setting or something like that, it can all help greatly. So even though there are some fights here that could be good, I'm probably going to run away from most of the fights here. I don't really need experience points, and I just kind of want to get through this dungeon quickly. At this point, we have everything we need to be able to beat the game. I am going to check the incentive chest in Sky Castle, just in case it has the tail, but I am not going to be going to Castle Ordeals, because at this point it is not required. Which of course means that that's where the tail's going to land, but that's what happens, so, you know. Okay, so I'm checking these chests. The reason I'm kind of checking these chests is just because I only have one ribbon so far. I would like to have two, although it is certainly not required. Oh, the power gauntlet. Ah, we have not seen the power gauntlet yet. Okay. So at least now I know what the other incentive item is. So it's going to be the power gauntlet. Oh yeah, the Zeus gauntlet is not incentivized. It's the power gauntlet I was thinking of as the gauntlet that is incentivized. So we now know what the incentive chest is. Either it's Vanilla Tail in Ordeals and Power Gauntlet in Sky Castle in the Adamant chest, or flip-flop those and we're going to find the Tail in Sky, and Power Gauntlet is going to be in Castle Ordeals. Go, heal some hit points back up and be on our merry way. All right. So, what do we want to do against Kraken here? I think we're going to Mazmune, Fade, and Brack. So, again, Brack can work on Kraken and Tiamat in their Fiend 1 as well as Fiend 2 versions. If it lands, it will just straight up instant kill them and save you a good deal of time. And there we go, Quad X landed on Kraken. I got him down to 300 or fewer hit points, and that took him out. Okay, so now all that's left is go do Sky Castle and get our 4th orb, and then we'll be ready for Temple of Fiends. Except we have an unrunnable fight first, so... Oh right, you have Fade. So I would really like to be able to go ahead and class change though, because I have a lot of gear that's class change dependent. So hopefully we find the tail in Sky, and I'm pretty confident that we don't need the Power Gauntlet. Power Gauntlet is one of those things that is very, very nice. You will never turn your nose up a Power Gauntlet if you're at least halfway smart. But it's not required. We have a good deal of spells available to us, so we'll always be able to get through without it if need be. Now the question is, if we don't see the tail in Sky, do we go do ordeals for the tail? And my answer is probably, because that's going to open up a good deal of gear, and I think it is worth the time investment. I'll already be in the area. Take a couple of minutes, go do castle ordeals, just get that in center chest and get out. Alright. So, time to get our chime. No, it's not because we haven't translated the slab. I'm an idiot. Well, no matter how many times you play, sometimes you just forget. Yep, how to deal with adversity. So, you're in a race and you just cost yourself 2 minutes by forgetting that you didn't translate the slab. This is a thing that happens, and it happens to all of us eventually. It does. Sometimes you get focused on what you're going to do next, and you forget to do the thing that you have to do first. And it feels bad every time. There's nothing that makes it feel better. But, yeah. Okay, so now we're actually going to go get our chime. Fortunately, I got a good run this time. It was way better than the last time where it was fights every 5 steps. Alright. So there we go. Now we've got chime. Now we get to move on. I think it's one of those I've done is forgetting the key is required to go through Topher and having to go back to multiple dungeons to find the ground. Yes, and that one feels real bad, JLo. Fortunately, I have not had that happen to me just yet. But I know that eventually my day will come and I will forget the Mystic Key and go into Topher without it. Chimeras are really good for EXP. I'm totally going to take this fight. I am going to take the time to dig Mirage 1 and Mirage 2. It doesn't take that long to dig these floors, plus you're close to the exit. So if you find something that's really critical, you can go ahead and just warp on out and save your progress. Unfortunately, so far we're finding garbage. So Opal Armor's okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't have resist on it. If it was the Dragon Armor, I'd worry more about dropping something to pick it up, but I'm going to skip it for now. Here we're going to go ahead and use Quad X. I think that these have 300 or fewer hit points. Nope, they don't. Okay. So that's a bit unfortunate. Oh, Light Axe is only effective against Undead. I thought he still had the Bane Sword Bane Sword in his inventory. Unfortunately, he does not. There we go. So I've got really good levels on everybody. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to really get any spell charges on my knight after he promotes. Sometimes that's just how the game lands, not getting tail until super late. Now, of course, if the tail was actually in Ordeals, I can kick myself because I totally could have gotten that way sooner. But not too concerned about it. So here I'm just kind of taking out fights that are good EXP and will go quickly. Some of the fights, even if they are not going to go quickly that are good EXP, I will take. If I see large packs of vampires, I will probably opt to take them because they are very good on EXP. Eye fights I will take. This blue dragon is unrunnable, so I don't have a choice here. Just not going to waste any spell charges and just attack. So there's not a whole lot of gear left that I could find that I really need, but I am going to go ahead and go check these 5 chests here. Just on the off chance that it has a ribbon in here. I'm a little bit surprised that more of them didn't die to Bane right there. Bane usually works fairly well on Manticores, I find. Yeah, JLo, those are basically the few things that I could find that I'd really want. Would be Dragon Armor or another Ribbon. Sunsword's not bad, I'll take that. Largely because that's a weapon I can equip now with my Red Mage. It turns out that Gurmedusa didn't have that many hit points. Good news. I said Gurmedusa, that was a Gurnaga. I know my enemies, don't worry. Okay, so the bottom left room here is the one that's incentivized. This is the chest that in the vanilla game has the adamant in it. And today it has the power gauntlet. Well, power gauntlet is greater than pro ring. Even if it doesn't offer the resistances. Okay, so now we are going to definitely stop off at Castle Ordeals. I was kind of hoping to be able to avoid it. Oh well. This is an interesting fight here. I'm actually going to go ahead and take this fight. I want to show off the fact that golems actually are not very resistant to zap. They have very low magic defense, so zap is actually going to be very effective against these golems here, because they, with their low magic defense, they're very susceptible to spells. Normally, it seems like magic just is not the way to go with golems. Based on the fact that they seem to take no damage. Well, that's unfortunate. Stupid sorcerers trying to get in my way of showing off mechanics. But it's important to note that the reason they take no damage from magic is because they resist a lot of the elements. They resist fire and ice and lightning. But if you fight golems and you cast a spell like Nuke, you will actually notice that they go down very quickly to it. And will often take a lot of damage from the spell. Here I'm going to be a little bit on the side of caution. It is possible to get into an encounter with Warmech here, and I want to respect that. Okay, I actually got the friendliest Bridge of Destiny I've ever seen, but nonetheless, that could have gone very differently. So here we're going to try and throw out Brack on Tiamat again, because Tiamat is susceptible to it. Okay, or just Tiamat's not going to have very many hit points, and this fight's going to go very easily. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I didn't get a single encounter on the Bridge of Destiny. What's wrong here? Unfortunately, with the White Mage dying, I do want to go res her. So I'm going to go south to Provoca and pick her back up. Okay, so we're quickly going to do Northwest Castle, or Castle Ordeals rather, and pick up our incentive item out here, which we know to be the tail, based on process of elimination. Tyros, on the other hand, have very high magic defense. You notice the Tyro are not taking a whole lot of damage from Fade here. There I used as many river tiles as I could to save myself encounter steps. Best armor in the game, somewhat nice. Yeah, you know. Oh, right. I'm playing with a flag set that does not have the Pillar Maze shuffled, so it will always be the bottom one. There we go. I actually used it. It was now no longer a waste for me to pick it up. That's what I'm going to tell myself anyway. Yeah, doing ordeals very early on is a great way to give yourself a booster shot of EXP. The Zombuls and the Zombie Ds, even the Nightmare, if you have like Ice 2 or Ice 3, can be a good source of experience points early on. Don't need an Opal Shield when I've already got Aegis. I'd rather not get death touched again, thank you. There we go, there's our ribbon. Yep, lots of vanilla this run, JLo. That happens sometimes. I messed up my steps there. I was supposed to go right 2, instead I went right 1 and paddled up the river a little while. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and go talk to Bahamut, get promoted. While we're in the area, there's really not much of a reason not to check the Cardia Isles that are right there. It's always something you can do if you want to try and feel as safe as possible. There are free chests in the game, and ignoring them it's not going to do anything good for you. If you're like in a race and trying to save time, then sure. But if you're trying to do just a casual run yourself, or you feel like you need equipment, don't be afraid to ever check these chests. Alright, so Aegis Shield, white shirt, Opal. No longer need this. No longer need this. Yeah, JLo, routing them in after you get the airship is it's a very smart play, especially if you are especially if you need gear, because typically when you find the airship, you don't have yourself settled into a great gear situation yet. The reason in this run I did not route it in immediately after getting the airship was because I wanted to wait until I had the tail to come check these chests. Unfortunately, that ended up being very late in the game, but that's what happens sometimes. Oh, I hate this dragon. Yep, dragon armor. Score 1 for the good guys. I like it. I'm gonna take a moment to go see if Life 2 was actually in a slot that the knight can learn. So if it is, that would be very beneficial for going through Temple of Fiends. Nope. Sad day. I would go check Life, but I don't remember where that was. It might have been Provoca, actually. I don't know. Alright. Bat's in my way, of course. Now there's nothing left but to go ahead and go through Temple of Fiends. Try and finish this off. So we're good on levels, we're good on gear, we don't really need equipment. So this is going to be just pretty much a straight shot through. I will check the 2 validation chests, but I don't feel like I need to go check anything else. Oh, you know, I have better weapons that I could be equipping now. Alright, time to reorganize people's gear. So you have an Excal, you have a Vorpal, you have a Mazmune, and you have a Thorhammer. Okay. Or apparently my people aren't going to do damage today. Let's see. Actually, I want you to swap here for here. This is less than ideal. I'm taking a lot of damage here. Well, that was very, very close. How did I take so much damage? There was definitely some hits that I missed in either a previous fight or something. Well, this is indicative of not having enough heal potions, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and crack the loot. And then warp on out of here. Because I do not have enough heal potions to be able to finish the rest of this, I don't think. go. So I can buy 4 stacks of heal potions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so there I did a quick power cycle. We're going to do that just to be sure we know what this encounter table looks like if we do a power cycle. If it ends up being good, then we'll probably likely power cycle each time. Otherwise, we will vary our strategy up. Zombie D's and Whiz Vamps. That's interesting. You've never power cycled? Yeah, it's not easy, and it's still a skill that I'm very much working on learning. So certainly I am no expert on it. So I am only power cycling to see what my encounters look like on the way down, and if the encounter table is friendly on the way down, then I will power cycle each time. And if I get a lot of nasty fights, then I will soft reset instead. I thought I used the loot here, but okay, I guess I didn't. This fight is unrunnable. There we go. There we go. Now we're really getting up there in the levels. Level 34 on the fighter, and at level 35 is the next point where the Mazmian will get an extra swing. So getting that while we're here in the Temple of Fiends is going to be really good news. That's going to let us do a lot of damage to these fiends. So slimes are not really what you want to see. They are susceptible to fire damage, so I'm going to throw out some fire 3s to try and clear these packs as I'm running away. Or just kill them and get XP. That works too. I basically never say no to Garmadeuses. Yeah, J-Lo, and like, I didn't stop and grind anywhere. This is just taking fights as you go along, which is why a lot of times I will tell people, you don't need to stop and do grinds. Like, most of the time, it is better, in my opinion, to just go as you are and get experience on your way to doing things. I didn't stop at any, like, crazy places. I've been running away from a lot of fights, so a lot of it is just I've had to spend time digging other areas. And yes, the experience in this particular flag set that I'm using is generous, so that is part of why my levels are very high. But even if it weren't for that, I would probably still be high 20s, if not low 30s. I did get level 35 on my fighter, yes. Yes, okay. Actually, I'm gonna have you cast Fade, and you cast Fade. You know what? I don't need to fast. I'm just gonna swing. There we go. Nice high roll from Fade on the White Mage, gets the job done. And Gershark Big Eyes are really juicy XP. You saw I just got 4,200 there. That's a lot. Take Gershark Big Eye fights. We're gonna just run. So here these waters are unrunnable, so we're gonna throw out our Fade charges. I didn't ever get any ice magic because I opted not to take the level 1 ice 3 and I chose Brack instead. Fortunately, waters didn't roll too many hit points, so this isn't going to take too long. Unfortunately, I got really low rolls on that lightning too, so I'm wasting 2 Fade charges instead of 1, but it's the breaks sometimes. So most of the time, it is a really good plan to move your fighter to the back rank before the Kraken fight, but with almost 800 hit points and 65 absorb, I feel like my fighter is in good condition. I'm not too worried about it. I am going to, however, move my ribbon over to my White Mage just in case we see something particularly nasty, like a Bane or a Crack or something like that. I want her to survive since she has life available. We will throw up 1 white shirt. And the fact that even on a Black Wizard, the Mazimune is swinging for that kind of damage, yes, he was fasted, just goes to show why the Mazimune is so incredibly powerful. So here we have some Iron Golems. I'm definitely going to throw Fade here, and I'm going to throw Zap on the Black Wizard. Again, low magic resist, so take advantage of that fact, and try and work your magic with spells like Zap here. Actually, maybe these guys don't have low magic resist. Yep, Iron Golems are one of the rarest fights in the game. Just like Warmech, they are a Group 8 encounter, which does not show up very frequently. So the fact that we saw it is very cool. This is only my third time seeing them wild like this. Yes, Volcanic Vorpal does belong on the Knight. However, right now I want 3 physical attackers to get through these fiends, and then I will put it on the Knight before Chaos. So calm down. Don't baby rage on me. So yes, Volcanic, you were right. Tiamat roll high, absorb, and it would have been a smart idea of me to move the Vorpal over for this fight. I had no way of knowing that ahead of time, so I did what I did. But look, the fight still didn't take me long. It's all just a gut feeling you have special powers. Well, good for you. Now share those powers with me. Nice, 6 hits with the Vorpal. That feels pretty good. Alright, so here our primary killers are going to be the Red Wizard and the Knight, since they have the most absorb, the most offensive capabilities as well. So we're going to go ahead and move the Knight to the very back row. We're going to move the Red Wizard to the next row. White Mage is going to be largely on Invis 2 duty. The first turn, both the Black Mage and the Red Mage are going to be using Fast. Black Wizard is going to use Fast on the Red Wizard, while the Red Wizard uses Fast on the Knight, since it's less likely for him to get targeted. And we're going to start power bonking, so we can do a lot of damage very quickly. Chaos opens with Ice 3, which is going to do a lot of damage to us, but it's not that bad. It's not the worst thing that he could throw at us for sure. Unfortunately, we don't have any sort of tempers. The Black Mage really doesn't have much to do here. So at this point, he's just going to throw out some Hail Marys, just in case they work, because if they work, they will save me a lot of time. And if they don't work, then he's not got a lot else to do, so I'm not losing time here. I'm going to use the Red Mage here to test out Chaos's Absorb to tell me how many power bonks to start throwing out. 5 hits for 121 tells me that he has a decent amount of Absorb, but not super high. So I think I'm going to throw about 2 more power bonks and then start really swinging into him. Conveniently, I also have about 2 Fades left. So when Fades are out, that's time to start swinging. So that's also 3 stacks of the white shirt. So I'm halfway there on evade. Time for the last time to power bonk. Our last fade charge. That's 4 evade stacks out of 6. There's 5. Swing, swing. There's Cure 4. Okay, so Cure 4 is out of the way. Now it's time to really start hammering into him. And he's dead. Okay. And that's why the Vorpal is awesome, because lots of crits do lots of damage. 4 power bonk charges in a fast, and it's already 1800 damage. Bye, Felicia. We're done here. So hopefully this was a much better run to show off what to do if things don't necessarily go quite your way. We had a much worse spell selection available to us this time around. Fortunately, some item magic really did a lot to help carry us through the early game. And sometimes that's what you'll have to rely on. You find an early Zeus Gauntlet, or Thor Hammer, or Mage Staff, or Black Shirt, heck, sometimes even a Bane Sword, and it can really do a lot to help carry you through the early game. So 163 chests open. We probably opened a lot more chests than we needed to, but not that big a deal. A lot of the chests that we opened were in the early game, looking for our progression. Eventually we found that floater in the ice cave. Of course, it's the last place we checked because that's how the game always works. But it was smart to put off the ice cave until last. Ice cave is very dangerous. We saw Lit 3 in there. We saw Frosties, and we saw Frost Wolves, and Death Touch from the Sorcerers. So all of these reasons are reasons to avoid ice cave until you really have to go there. Unless you have a lot of spells and gear and stuff available to get you through those fights quickly and easily.